What makes a great founder? This is a question I ask myself daily. Some venture capitalists place bets on a founder's previous background. Did they go to an Ivy League school? Have they worked at a blue chip company? Have they built out a big vision before? So, effectively, how smart is this person? Other VCs assess a founder's emotional quotient or EQ. How well is this person able to build teams and build rapport across customers and clients? I have a different methodology, and it's not that complicated. I look for signs of one specific trait, not IQ, not EQ, it's adaptability, meaning how well the person reacts to the inevitability of change and lots of it. That's the single most important determinant for me. I subscribe to the belief that adaptability itself is a form of intelligence, and our adaptability quotient or AQ is something that can be measured, tested, and even improved. AQ isn't just useful for startup founders, however. I think it's increasingly important for all of us because the world is speeding up and we know that the rate of technological change is accelerating, which is forcing our brains to react. Whether you're navigating changing job conditions brought on by automations, shifting geopolitics in a more globalized world, or simply changing family dynamics and personal relationships. Each of us as individuals, groups, corporations, and even governments are being forced to grapple with more change than ever before in human history. So how do we assess our adaptability? There are three tricks which you can use for yourself and even for other founders. Here's the first. Think back to your most recent job interview. What kind of questions were you asked? Probably some variation of tell me about a time when, right? Instead, to interview for adaptability, you can ask the what if questions. What if your main revenue stream were to dry up overnight? What if a heat wave prevented every single customer from being able to visit your store? Asking these what if questions instead of asking about the past forces the brain to simulate, to picture multiple possible versions of the future. Practicing simulations is a sort of a safe testing ground for improving adaptability. The second trick that you can use to assess adaptability in yourself and in founders is to look for signs of unlearning. Active unlearners seek to challenge what they presume to already know and instead override their data with new information, kind of like a computer running a disk cleanup. On the last page of Gandhi's autobiography, he wrote, I must reduce myself to zero. At many points in his very full life, he was still taking to return to a beginner's mindset, to zero, to unlearn. In this way, I think it's pretty safe to say Gandhi had a pretty high AQ score. The third and final trick to assess a founder's adaptability is to look for people who infuse exploration into their life and their business. There's a sort of natural tension between exploration and exploitation, and collectively, all of us tend to overvalue exploitation. Here's what I mean. In the year 2000, a man finagled his way into a meeting with John Antioco, the CEO of Blockbuster, and proposed a partnership to manage Blockbuster's fledgling online business. The CEO laughed him out of the room, saying, I have millions of existing customers and thousands of successful retail stores. I really need to focus on the money. The other man in the meeting, however, turned out to be Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix. In 2018, Netflix brought in $15.8 billion, while Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010, directly 10 years after the meeting. The Blockbuster CEO was too focused on exploiting his already successful business model so much that he couldn't see the door around the next corner. In that way, his previous success became the enemy of his adaptability potential. For the founders that you work with or many people work with, you can frame exploration as a state of constant seeking to never fall too far in love with your wins, but rather continue to proactively seek out what might kill you next. So, when I first started exploring adaptability, the first thing I found most exciting is that we can improve it. Each of us has the capacity to become more adaptable. But think of it like a muscle, it's gotta be exercised, right? And don't get discouraged if it takes a while. Over time, using the tricks that I just said, that is, asking the what if questions, actively unlearning, and prioritizing exploration over exploitation, puts you in a driver's seat so that the next time something big changes come, you're already prepared. We are entering a future where IQ and EQ both matter way less than how fast you're able to adapt. So I hope that these tools help you to raise your own AQ. Thank you.